So on this Ford 655C backhoe I'm working on, it had an issue with the transmission where we could get it to go into gear, forward, reverse. It didn't last long, maybe a couple minutes before it just stopped and wouldn't go anymore. And I was talking to some people that were pretty knowledgeable about this, and they mentioned there's a pickup filter screen in the bottom of the transmission to make sure, check out and make sure it wasn't clogged. So right here underneath the transmission filler is where we're talking about. Is that square plate with 4 bolts in it, and inside of there is that filter. Here's all the fluid I drained out of the transmission on this. Here we have that same filter. I cleaned it up, got this thing all unclogged, folded it back into shape. There's no holes in it. This stuff's pretty strong. It's stainless steel mesh. Cleaned up with a pair of needle nose pliers, small needle nose pliers, and a little screwdriver. Broke all that off of here and chipped it all out around here and inside there, and on here. It was on there. It was kind of sealed in there. So what I'm thinking of doing now that I got it cleaned up, and a new one costs $355 without shipping, to replace that is maybe takes 2 hands or a little bit of patience. Just put that back together and maybe use some solder to seal this thing back up if possible. Solder doesn't melt till about, what, 360 degrees? I don't believe that transmission is going to be getting that hot. But yeah, let me give this a shot. It seems to have worked pretty good. I got one side done. It's in there nice and snug. Yeah, I think this is gonna work out just fine. Alright, so I got this bottom part welded in, or soldered in. It's not gonna solder inside there. I couldn't get it, probably because of the aluminum. But anyway, so this is that bottom plate. I'm gonna reuse this. We got a new one ordered, but we're gonna reuse this because we're planning on, we figure we're gonna, when we run some fluid in there, we're probably gonna pick up a bunch of crap, and we'll replace that out with a new one. But this one is gonna go on to flush the system, basically. And we'll leave the old filter on while we flush that system, and then actually, no, what, we got a filter and then we bought another filter. It's on its way, so we're gonna change out the filter, flush the system, and then redo everything, all the filters. But anyway, let me put this together before I do that. All right, so this goes in here. And just gotta line them tabs up. There. I'll put this rubber on there, back where that goes. Be easier to do that with 2 hands. I'll put this back. Flip it over. And then we're going to put this, I don't know if you can see, but back inside there, threaded on, and that'll hold that assembly together. All right, another thing I want to take care of while I'm at it. I was going to do this later, but since we removed that pickup filter and drained out the fluid, this shifter, it used to move, but now it seems like it's seized up. It might be corroded or rust in there. But anyway, what I want to do is clean all the dirt off that plate on the top of the transmission and basically pull that out of there and see if I can get this to free up. Maybe flush it down with some fresh fluid to clean out the crappy fluid that was in there while I'm at it. Let's see if I can get some of this cleaned off. Get that crustier stuff off here first. Best as I can. I'm going to keep working on this. May have to get an air hose and blow all this off of here. But, alright, let's take this shifter off. Just these 3 bolts and this thing will come right out. Alright, I got these 3 bolts off the shifter here. So I can take this bolt out of here. There's a nut over here, and tap it out this way and it'll slide right off. But there ain't a whole lot of room to tap on this side. So what I'll do is I'll just fish it up through here. Pop that out of there. And then fish it up through here. And then when we put it back together, I'll have this separated, and then I'll just bolt this on and then slide that back on and slide the pin back in and tighten it up. That'd be easier that way. Let's remove some of these bolts out of here. Hopefully we can get them all fairly easily. 2, 3 on this side. One, 2, 3. Alright, we'll get all those bolts out of there. Let's see if we can get this to pop loose. Oh yeah, slid real easy. Pull that out. We already took that, and we only got 3 bolts on that. That was easy to remove. Need to pull go this way with it to get it above that the lines, and then we can pull it out this way. It looks like the dipstick needs to come out first. Thing. Let's just get this out of my way. There's the top that I just removed off here. Cleaning up this cover to get all the grime and crud out of there. I already went around and cleaned the outside here. Got the old gasket off there. But yeah, I just want to make sure all that crud doesn't make its way back inside the transmission. Alright, so the issue why this wouldn't shift, why it was stuck, was these little suckers here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 in the front, I think, are the longer ones here. And there's a ball bearing that goes down in there. There's a spring, and then this thing here. And what that does is that sits and locks that. And well, these things were basically like a little corroded and stuck. Actually, I think some of the parts are missing. This one here is missing the pin itself. I haven't been able to get the springs or the balls out of the back, and I haven't been able to get the ball out of that one, but I got the pins. Anyway, we're missing parts, or they're still stuck in there. One pin for sure is missing. I'm still working on it with this little magnet here. Once I get that all where I'm confident there's nothing left inside there, and I get it all cleaned up real nice, I'm gonna vacuum all the oil out with the shop vac down at the bottom there. Has some water in it, and maybe clean that up with some cleaner or some oil, to dump some oil on top of it to wash any dirt that may have gotten on top of there. I just wanted to show this. Somebody had been working on this. Obviously, I keep running into things like this, but there's the bolts for the top of that cover for the transmission. And what's that? You gotta watch out for people doing stupid stuff like that. I went and brought this out. I want to clean all the crud and dirt off all these bolts. While I was at it, this gear shifter, somebody had welded it, and they had welds sticking out, I don't know, almost a ½ inch, or at least a quarter or 3/8 sticking out, all bumps all over that thing. So I cleaned it up so it's a little smoother. I went ahead and I got this all cleaned up. We'll have to order gasket and seals and stuff for this, and I also scrubbed this clean. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of put it back together. Just button it up for now. I put the pickup filter back on the bottom, and I also went ahead and dumped some oil down in there and cleaned it up real nice and vacuumed it out. So we're gonna button this up until we get the gaskets and filter, and then put it back together. All right, so we get this top back on here. I got 3 bolts. I hand snugged the plate down. The middle shifters, I snugged that down with a ratchet. And so this is just gonna sit there. It's got no gasket in between there, so nothing would leak, like I said, if I filled it up and started it up, which I'm not gonna do. We're gonna wait till gaskets and seals come in. I'll take that back off her and replace it properly, and then fill it back up and see if that fixed our issue. Hopefully it does, but we'll definitely have a lot more work to do on this thing either way. So, all right, so we got that all nice and freed up now. Okay, we'll just make this the end of part 1. I'm going to wait on gaskets and seals to put that all back together properly and fill it up. And then I'll have to test to see if this thing's going to drive like it's supposed to, instead of driving for a couple of minutes and then stopping. All right, thanks.